Last time on Dice Funk.
Hi, I'm Dio.
Hello. My name is Fortunato.
Who told you to kill anyone who came and try and attack anyone who came in here, not knowing that we shouldn't be in here? What's up?
The research team from the old world. They found secrets left by the old gods, dangerous ones, and tasked me with protecting them from marauders and thieves.
So our flat Earth exists on top of a tree stump.
It's not just that the gods created the new world. They are the new world.
Like
I
in
am
some ways.
fascinated to find out what's in there, but also I don't want to hog all of the life-changing moments, and I'm pretty sure I have a piece of the world tree here. So I feel like I've done my having a life-changing moment for the day. I probably shouldn't hog all of them. That seems like a bad plan.
So as soon as it's open, a crack enough to see, something lashes out at you from inside and strikes you, Xana, in the face, and you stumble back, and everyone sees what appears to be the circulatory system of a humanoid body.
Is that on my face, or?
So veins and arteries. You said you were like, I want to drink the blood. You get more than you bargained for, because the remains of the god of nature, the third generation god, Hallis, their earthly remains.
I grab the heart.
You grab the heart?
I grab the heart and bite into it. And my mouth opens up a little too far, farther than you think should be. And then my teeth are just a little bit too sharp, and it's up to you guys to see if you want to notice that or not. But that's it's a little bit too. My mouth opens just a little bit too far, and my teeth are just a little bit too sharp. And then I bite into it, and I start sucking the blood out of the circulatory system.
I was gonna say you grab the heart, and the heart grabs you back, because if you start,
it's like a loving. Okay, it's lovingly giving me the blood as I suck it out.
It essentially sinks in through your skin, not leaving a mark or wound, and maybe you're covered in blood when it's over.
Yeah, down my chin, but in a hot way.
Dio isn't horrified, they're really just observing.
But otherwise, there is no indication that anything bad happened to you. Xana, you gained 2 levels.
I saw a spark against the dark, and we erupt, but it's a slow burn. We take our chance and start to dance, can see enough to know to turn around. The sound of a bonfire carries over fences, titillates our senses, but we don't need the heat. A chill wind is pushing you into me, and it's looking like we might be burning down. But we're a bonfire, we keep putting in.
I'm nearly at the end of Dawn of Everything by Graeber, and he just started talking about the stretch of land called the American Bottom, and I was like, oh, I know her.
You're bad.
I'm so bad. I'm naughty and cool, and I have cool naughty friends.
By the way, I lied. I'm actually eating the edible right now, but I didn't want anyone to tell me to stop.
Look, we've all been there. I mean, none of us have been there. We all follow the laws in our applicable places.
Every law, every single law.
I don't use marijuana because I want to go to heaven. So
I'm the opposite of McCavity from Cats. I've followed every human law.
Weed is legal where I am, but I want you all to know I did buy it from a person and not a shop. You're welcome.
yeah, I stopped smoking weed when it became legal because it's not cool anymore.
You know what is cool? Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons is only cool if you buy it for 17-year-old at the back of Walmart.
Oh, I did just rail some crushed up Molly, though. I hope that's okay.
At least in Chicago, everyone who does Dungeons and Dragons is like a polyamorous dungeon kink freak. So it's like, who is the cool one?
Dungeons and Daddies.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I'm gonna tell you the secret about the link between polyamory and D&D, because there is a link there. 100% people get it, and I'm allowed to say this as someone that's in a polyamorous relationship. You get into polyamory so that you have enough people to do a regular D&D session with. It's the only way to get a regular in-person game going.
I mean, to circle back to Graeber, who we were discussing at the beginning, I was reading the Utopia of Rules, and Graeber discusses D&D as an example of anarchism, and how like a D&D party is like a kind of unit of a non-hierarchical, goal-oriented like task solving. So
Absolutely.
R.I.P. to a real one.
Exactly.
He died recently.
Absolutely. He was the best boy. It's very sad. Utopia of Rules especially does whip, and it's a lesser known one, so I'm glad to shout it out. I was just talking with Emmy from People Against Prisons Aotearoa, and she was saying that like a lot of organizations suffer from like the tyranny of structurelessness, where like people think that they should all be able to do all the jobs and like not do different jobs. And like the number one thing I immediately thought of was a D&D like group. Yeah. It's just like you're telling a story together. No one has like truly more power. Like if the DM was just utterly bullshit and was like, by the way, you just all die, then any player could just be like, okay, by the way, fuck you, my character lives.
we walk away and finish the story somewhere else because there's no power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Last we left the adventure, the team found some underground chambers, which turned out to be the tomb of a dead god. You saw basically a projection and like a light show that showed how the old world ended, and the gods gave their lives to create the new world, except for at the edge of Arabella, one area which was not created because the god walked off. And now you all have this opportunity to race across the continent and find this missing person and this uncreated land, and there's a big race now. But all along the way, there are these reliquaries. You found that the dead gods have left behind body parts which you can absorb for power. And the last thing that happened was, Xana, you opened up the stone coffin of Hallis, god of nature, and the circulatory system jumped out, latched onto you, and then began integrating with your body, giving you who knows what kind of powers.
Well, see, that's pretty cool. But I got a bit of wood last week. So who's really had the most interesting week here?
Okay, but you got a piece of wood off of the world tree, so it's like
Yeah, but I almost died because I looked at the world tree. So
And the week before that, I grew a leaf.
Hell yeah!
You know, I think I'm the most ahead, honestly.
It's not a competition.
It is a competition, and I think that Dio's winning.
Plus, I've gotten to, like so many others in this call right now, I've gotten to level up between episodes here, and I added something game-changing, something just magical that I know Austin is just going to love, which is an ability called Beast Speech, which allows me to cast Speak with Animals without using a slot.
Have you seen Castle in the Sky?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you're like the.
But have you read the manga? The manga is Gulliver's Travels.
Oh. Or yeah, the Studio Ghibli one where the robots walking around in the garden. That's you.
Yeah, I pictured that a lot when I was thinking about Dio, but I think Dio is more of a human shape. But I like that kind of vibe.
So as a level 2 warlock, you get some, I think they're called invocations.
Yeah.
One of which is beast speech, so you can talk to animals. I do want to say that longtime listeners will know that in the old world, because of a mad scientist, a lot of animals became awakened, which is a D&D term for like smarter than your average animal. Here in the new world, they're animal intelligence, so we're going to have a lot fewer long kind of circuitous philosophical conversations with every rodent you come across.
Listen, I don't want to talk philosophy with Brian, but I do want to talk to Brian.
I'll say this. I'm honestly most intrigued to eventually find out whether these animals are more or less talkative than the plants. Which of them's going to have more or less to say? Come on, Austin, don't short sell me here. Have talkative plants. Go on.
I always imagine talking to plants or animals is like getting sensory feelings. Like they're not going to tell you something. They're going to share the experience of feeling the wind or something.
I appreciate that, but I also want to know what accent a ficus has.
I loved Austin's description last season of the killer centipede, what it was thinking, because its intelligence was like 3 or 4, and he was just like, yeah, it's saying kill, kill, eat, kill, 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 kill. It was good.
I just looked it up, and druids, you won't get to speak to plants until level 5, which is rough for your character.
I thought it was level 4 I got it.
Is it? Well, here comes the book again.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's cantrips, and then 4 levels in I get speak with plants, maybe, question mark?
Speak with plants is a 3rd level spell, which you get at level 5.
Oh, you mean character level 5. Okay, yeah. That's fine. I knew I had it before spell level 5.
We can talk about this more during your level up, Laura, but yes, as Sophie noted, everyone is leveled up. We're level 2. Do we want to discuss this first? Because normally we have something called like...
I'm level 3.
The other thing I added was that my Eldritch Blast is more powerful. I've been leaning on the blasting, so I thought, why not make my blasting stronger?
You've been getting a lot of those ads about making your blast stronger.
Yeah, Dio started taking T-Drive and now can add their charisma to make their load huge.
Is that what they're taking on those ads? Like make yours come huge with the glass being filled up?
Yeah, I keep on getting these T-Drive ads, which are hilarious because like it must be that the fucking creepy cookies that like watch what I'm typing have noticed me talking about my hormone levels and are like, this person clearly wants to have huge loads.
So for people who are new to listening to Dice Funk, we level up on a milestone system. So like at the end of little narrative arcs, we'll get a level up. We don't do it by experience because that's for fucking nerds.
Yeah.
When do our loads get bigger?
Yeah, exactly. anytime that you come bigger, you level up. Also, Sophie, I love with those ads, like, there's, like, people being like, this really, like, helped the relationship. Like, I'm trying to imagine the relationship of, like, the guy who's, like, his wife is gonna leave him unless he can, like, come at least a cup of jizz.
Did you guys ever watch the show The Magicians with the cum magic system? Yeah, there's a cum. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to tell you. Oh my God! Don't do that, Sophie.
So Austin, do we want to all talk about our level ups at the start and then do what we're doing this week, or do we do that organically as we go through the story?
I love that Laura's the cum police who keeps trying to bust in and stop us from talking about it.
Austin, I'm not the cum police. I have a thing called the cum face game in my office. I am not the cum police, but I've got it.
Or maybe she is, and you've. Nope, never mind.
There's a time and a place for cum chat.
Sophie's just putting nasty ass pictures. They're not exactly pornographic. They just look like they are. This is a nightmare.
From Disney movies. Mulan with her mouth full of white liquid, and then a baby fox getting milk squirted at it.
Austin, we're 10 minutes into the episode and half an hour into recording. What adventures are we doing today?
Okay, so I mean, the opening image is you're all standing around the stone sarcophagus. Blood is dripping from Xana's chin, much like Mulan in this picture that Sophie shared with us, but it's blood instead. I assume everyone's freaked out, and then you're like, I mean, you can respond, but you aren't in any pain or any discomfort or distress, so...
Dio isn't freaked out. They go, so how often does this happen?
Eating a heart?
Everything I just saw.
Most experiences in life are never been done before. So congratulations.
Dio looks at Dark Justice for a while, contemplating whether to react the way that Dark Justice reacted to the World Tree. It's like the strongest reaction they've seen to anything before, and this seemed like an extreme thing. And they're just like, is this how people react to things?
So Juniper's response is, I think the default response is to pull out the piece of the world tree and hold it much like someone who was trying to ward off a vampire might hold a cross, just sort of, just holding it at a distance just in case. Is everything okay?
I ate the heart, but also the heart ate me. So it's like, did I really do anything wrong?
I don't know if you did anything wrong, but that's also not reassuring.
Is anything ever wrong? That's just relative.
Exactly.
Hey, so can you have conversations with the circulatory system that just jumped inside of you? That feels important. Is it aware it's in there?
I don't know. Let me check. I feel like I have like a lot of people in here. 1 second. Should I roll perception?
Well, there's a couple different ways we can do this. I think actually you can walk us through your level up and any ways that may manifest. So, for example, if part of leveling up is that like you get some kind of there's a visual effect, like you can, I don't know, sprout veins and arteries from your fingertips or something. You can describe that. Or if you're just normal and everything's fine, that can be. It's up to you how the flavor
Doing
works.
a goddamn JoJo's to us again, you son of a bitch, Yoski.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Can Juniper roll like insight or something on that comment about thinking there might be multiple people in there? Juniper wants to know if that's a joke or not.
This isn't like a intimidation. It's like insight, right? It's different.
Yeah. Juniper is trying to get a sense of whether that meant something or was just. And I mean, look, this. Your character does just fuck with people sometimes, so Juniper's gonna try and brush it off.
So I like Austin's idea. Yeah, I think the heart always stays anchored inside, but if I want to, the circulatory system can branch out of me. I don't know what it can do, but it's cool.
The mechanical effect is that you gained a level in another class. The ones I had in mind, because this is the circulatory system of the god of nature, was either a ranger or druid level. However, you do not have the wisdom to take a druid level just because of the way multi-classing works. But you did have the dexterity for ranger, so you got that level in ranger, which means you get a bunch more health. Rangers have a pretty big hit die, and you get some other features here. You can read them for the audience if you want, or we can talk about what spells you took, because you also got a bard level, so you're a level higher than everyone.
You're just the best now. So much better than everyone else.
I am nervous and stupid, so no. Austin can.
I mean, as your second level bard, you got Jack of all trades and Song of Rest. Jack of all trades just means that even the things you're not proficient with, you're still better than average at. So you got all that math baked in. I did that for you on your sheet.
You get like half proficiency for free on all the stuff you're not proficient in.
And Song of Rest means when everyone does short rests, in addition to the healing they get from rolling their own their dice, which is plural. I should know that. I do a dice-based podcast. I should not keep saying die and dice in the wrong situations. They get an additional D6. That dice actually grows as you level up. But right now, everyone's going to heal more, just being around you. So that's what you get for being a bard. As for your ranger level, you got from getting the circulatory system of the god of nature, you get ranger features such as natural explorer. You are a master of navigating the natural world, and you react with swift and decisive action when attacked. You ignore difficult terrain. You have advantage on initiative rolls. On your first turn during combat, you have advantage on attack rolls against creatures that have not yet acted. In addition, you are skilled at navigating the wilderness. You gain the following benefits when traveling for an hour or more. Difficult terrain doesn't slow you down. Your group can't become lost except by magical means. Like, this is a huge list here. It's on
damn.
the second page.
Okay, so I'm role playing that My circulatory system came out and just kind of like mimed that to everyone. and I too was also nodding along. Yeah, okay. And everyone's just like, yeah. There's just a bunch of veins floating around, and you guys just get the idea.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see this probably if that's a flavor we're going with. When you get outside and start doing stuff in nature, you can definitely put that flavor into practice. We do have a choice to make here. You get a favorite enemy. Beast, Fae, Humanoids, Monstrosity, or Undead. You gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls with weapon attacks against the chosen creature. Additionally, you have an advantage on wisdom checks to track your favorite enemy. So, people or animals, basically. Do you want to be a hunter of people or a hunter of animals?
Oof. I'm trying to think about what we have more of and what you consider a person.
Fuck. That's so cool. It's like The Witcher. It's great. This is my favorite thing.
I mean, I narrowed it down for you from that list just because those are the two things you're going to be seeing this season.
Okay, monsters or beasts. I want to be plus against beasts, I guess.
All right. So that's all the stuff Xana got, and you have this flavor where these arteries can like poke out of your body, not leaving like a wound, and they can like, survey the area, and that'll allow you to track and do all that stuff rangers do. So everyone sees that, and they're like, wow, incredible.
Dio first checks with others whether it's incredible, and then says it's incredible.
It is incredible, Juniper will reassure.
Juniper, I guess it's time to talk about your level up. We normally do a downtime episode if you've listened to past seasons. This time we're not really going to do that. We're just talking about it just kind of the way you would at a normal table, just because there's not like a city or a town to go back to and like get drinks and like hang out. Like it's just this season doesn't lend itself to it, so it's a kind of a format departure for us.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So Juniper is now a level 2 druid. I'll start by getting out the way the thing that I can now do that isn't to do with my level up. Because of my little fragment of the Yggdrasil, I now get advantage on nature checks. So I'm starting to get a vibe for what's going on up here.
So last episode you picked up that piece. That's like a piece of bark. It's just like it fits in your hand. That's how small it is. But notably, it's alive in the way like plant material it can be. Like separated from what's like bonsai or.
Yeah, the way it would be if it still had roots in the ground.
Exactly, and your understanding is that the rest of the Yggdrasil upon which the world is like balanced is dead. It's a dead trunk, and so that's what's special about it is that this little piece is alive still. Now the question is, I said last episode, I think after we finished recording, that could give you advantage on nature checks, which makes sense. You're a plant person. It does occur to me though, as we mentioned earlier, that you're not going to talk to plants for a long time. Do you want to have?
I'd love to be a plant person.
Do you want to be able to talk to plants? And we can say that's the effect that this gives you is like it recalibrates your magic such that you can attune to the plants of this world. This is the one opportunity I will give you.
I like that as an opportunity, but I'm trying to balance it with, is it more interesting for Juniper to not have access to that for a while? Or...
Yeah, because then that means that arc ends here if we didn't make that choice, or we can play it out.
I'm going to take you up on having that now, because if I hadn't had access to it for a while, I had an idea of what I could do with it, but I also have an idea of what I can do with having it unexpectedly early. I have a plan for that, actually, so you know what, in that case, Juniper can talk to plants again!
Hooray!
This fragment of the Yggdrasil is tucked inside one of her gardening gloves. It is just going to be right in there on the palm inside the glove, I think, is where it's going to be, just so that it's constantly in contact. But yeah, the other stuff I get for my level up, I now have Wild Shape, where this is just a thing that druids can do. I can turn into the shape of certain animals. There's a lot of restrictions on what I can turn into, but I can turn into some animals occasionally now. I also picked my druid circle, which is sort of specialising what kind of druid you're going to be. I am a Circle of the Land druid. that has focused on forest as my favored druid location, which I think makes sense considering we are currently in a location in a forest, and I just got my piece of a big tree. I get a couple of things for specializing that way. I get a bonus cantrip. I now know Shillelagh, which allows me to basically be okay at melee attacks as a spellcaster. And I have natural recovery, which allows me to recover some spell slots upon short rests, which is very appreciated. And the last thing I did is I got another spell slot, and I learned Goodberry.
So one of the, there are many upsides to get recording often enough that you get a buffer so that if something goes wrong, there's still an episode. But the downside is that we don't get the feedback immediately. So if you've been if you've been screaming at us for weeks that Juniper had too many spell slots,
So I can tell you why that is. Juniper's spell sheet was originally level 8 and then had to level down to level 1, and I forgot to tweak one of the spell slot levels.
Well,
I thought I had more slots than I did. It's fixed now.
yeah. So everything should be fixed there. But Juniper, you got some cool stuff. You're a Circle of the Land druid. You talk to plants now. More slots. You can turn your mitts into a weapon and punch now.
Yeah. So for context, I very specifically don't want Juniper to know yet that she can talk to plants again now.
Sick.
Because we're underground, there's no plants around at this exact second. I think we'll give it a second.
Yeah, so Shillelagh, for those not familiar with this D&D spell, it's like the signature cantrip of druids. The wood of a club or quarterstaff you're holding is imbued with nature's power. For the duration, you can use your spellcasting ability instead of strength, or for the attack and damage roll of a melee weapon, and the damage die becomes a D8, which is a rapier. So basically, you can become a melee fighter. You're not incredible at it, but you're not half bad, and I think
you get to bonk.
The wooden item you have is that sliver of the Yggdrasil, so I don't know if that's if you're kind of shanking people with God.
That's so badass.
I don't even think necessarily shanking with it, but I think it's just there is wood in my palm as I do a hit, I think is sort of flavor-wise. But, yeah. I like the idea of Shillelagh specifically for Juniper, because Juniper's a very bounce-around, agile kind of character, and I like the thought of them being able to sort of bounce, punch, sort of ping-pong around a room.
So huge for Dark Justice here. I no longer only have 4 hit points, I now have 5.
Oh my god, what a relief.
This is, I honestly, I feel like I'm a little OP at this point.
So that's I have to assume it's a -4 in Constitution, right?
-4 in Constitution. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've been taking the static rather than rolling. Cool.
So in the history of the show, we've never had anyone dump Constitution. So I think this is, it's just for novelty's sake as well. I really like that this character has that. We've never done this before. And it also exposes kind of the one quirk of 5th edition, because everything is like really cleanly, evenly balanced, basically, to have a mechanistic approach where you like basically always have a correct choice you should be making for your class. But it's just very funny that Constitution is like the one outlier where it's like if your con ability modifier is bad, your character is just so fragile in a way. No other way you can be that bad.
I did not know that Constitution did that, but also I do think it fits very well as like Vimble being this very frail like sort of Victorian child type character.
It puts some beautiful context on that first episode where Dark Justice was like, yes, let's pick a fight with the people we're way under level to fight. We can take them. We've got this. Oh, you've all got more than 1 HP?
Well, fuck.
Let's come back tonight.
I have only one negative stat, and it's dexterity, which is why I've been playing Dio as just like smashing through stuff and fell over it and crushed an orc into goo and like
But yeah, at the second level of Rogue, you get what's called a Cunning action, which is something you can do as your bonus action. Basically, to make this as simple as possible, on your turn, before you had to choose between hiding and throwing your darts. Now you can do both, which is just going to make you're basically the DPS of the party. You're glass cannon because you can hide as your bonus action and then start throwing your darts from stealth. And your whole entire character is built around proccing sneak attack, which you get if you're in stealth. So you are going to get that D6 plus the damage of your darts basically every turn, and you're also going to be like unhittable. If someone does lay a hand on you, you're going to shatter.
Yeah.
But otherwise, your characters, I mean, as long as you do the thing it's built to do, it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. We're now going to have to do the thing that you do in MMOs where we just spend our entire time shouting, protect the DPS, protect the DPS.
All right, so we spent a lot of time talking about numbers, but let's get the narrative back on rails. You're all standing in front of the sarcophagus. Red and Fortunato are there, and they're aghast at this thing that's happened with Xana, but Xana reassures everyone.
It's not a big deal, I say, as from the anchored heart inside me, veins float through the air. This is fine.
I'm glad.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear you say that, but I'm not convinced that we're not going to at some point wake up and just like, oh yeah, no, that thing's puppeting you around. Oops, you're on some strings.
First of all, how dare you think anything would puppet me? Second of all, I really think I could make this look work. So I would appreciate some support.
Hey, circulatory system. If you're capable of puppeting Xana now, it'd be cool to let us show it off. It'd be a cool party trick.
Go ahead and try, circulatory system. Go ahead and try. Stronger people have tried and they couldn't. So, go ahead. I'll rip you out. I don't care.
I just found out that I'm me and I'm in my body, and now you're you and you're in your body, but also like, so is it like, that's weird.
Yeah, sentience is kind of like a huge bummer. That's why we made up religion to cope with it.
But like, you're you and you're in your body, but it is it and it's in your body, and like maybe it's you, but maybe it's like something else.
Yeah, it's like a party in here now.
Oh, damn.
Look, Juniper's just gonna start kicking off into a spiel about, like, coexisting parasites in nature and symbiosis of species. She's really, really getting into well, actually, sometimes there's more than one organism works together and make a bit of a thing.
I like the idea that Sonny said that's why people made up religion, as if you didn't just walk through the tomb of a god. Like...
Yeah, this is the circulatory system of a literal god.
Yeah, but like a god is just a super powerful person, so whatever.
Red says, yeah, appears to be the size of it. So, we gonna go, try to beat the first research team to the next tomb, or how y'all want to handle this?
I am suddenly feeling very up for that plan. I just found a piece of the Yggdrasil in here. There's gonna be cool stuff up here, and I'm gonna feel less at risk of everyone's plans getting me murdered if I have cool magical things.
When I kind of conceived of this season, there was kind of like two different ways I saw it going. One was kind of like Star Trek, where you're just kind of bipping and bopping around and not with the end goal, just getting into shenanigans the way the original series or Next Generation do. The other was kind of a specific race to get somewhere before someone else. And the thing is, in like episode 1, Vimble was like, I don't give a shit about research. I am absolutely not committing to discovery for its own sake. So definitely pivoting to at the end of at the end of Arabella, there is a piece of the world where the god you saw last episode did not sacrifice themselves to make that part of the world. And so that is something that you definitely want to discover. That person might still be alive. And along the way are these tombs, one in each biome, which hold the relics of the dead gods, relics in the Catholic sense, meaning body parts, which you now see will be absorbed into your body and grant you phenomenal cosmic power.
Also, Vimble has, realized that, like, obviously, because his, like, mommy and daddy never told him about the other researchers, this is part of some grand conspiracy, and that we have to stop them. That's our, heroic quest that we have to do, is stopping them, because they are surely up to no good.
Juniper 100% would have been up for bumbling around, exploring, research, doing Star Trek season, but also I think has very quickly realized that this group of people does not want that, and as much as Juniper may be here to learn, the rest of the party seems here to pick fights, and if I can learn while picking fights...
The rest of the party?
Look, not Dio, but Dark Justice seems
I don't know where
willing
you're getting
to pick
that
fights,
from.
and Xana seems very happy for those fights to happen.
Here's an interesting wrinkle, though, because in an earlier episode, Vimble, you promised Red a cushy job once you established capitalism up here, and that's why she followed you. She was just going to introduce you to the other research team, but now she's like, oh, no, this is my opportunity to become somebody important, to discover all this stuff and get power and prestige. So you can have her on your side, but then Xana used deception on Fortunato to tell them that actually you have Arabella's best interest in mind and that you want to discover all these secrets to keep them safe. So Fortunato will follow you all. However, these two NPCs are mutually exclusive. They will not work together.
How come?
Austin, I'm just going to say this now. You say this like there's any choice and we're not just going to pick the tall, strong lady.
Why won't they work together?
I know there's narrative consequences, but like, big tall lady.
Because Red is like, yeah, I'm trying to get the bag. And Fortunato is like, I'm the first person born in the new world and it's my birthright to protect it and not exploit it. They are diametrically opposed ideologically.
So, yeah, either one has been convinced, but you can't simultaneously go, yes, I'm both of what I told both of you I was.
I don't know, it could be like one of those like sitcom episodes where it's like you're like on a date with two like people at the same restaurant and you're like going in and out of like the bathroom and stuff, you know?
Oh my god.
You could sort of do that.
Can we just have like
Yeah.
can we have half the party walk 6 feet behind with the other NPC, just not close enough to hear what the first NPC is saying?
What, could we have both if we just ensure that they never talk to each other?
Okay, so we're gonna pick Red, right?
I mean, my vote is for we make sure that they never speak to one another. Failing that, Red.
Look, Laura the player, very interested in Red staying with us, but I have to be like in character about it, and I think that Juniper's a lot more torn because Red was very willing to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna fucking fight you because you freed someone from servitude, and the other side is a person who's a happy research friend who's got research goals in mind. Maybe for a research friend.
They're also not evil, which is a good balance.
Sophie, the player, wants to hang out with the cowboy lady. Dio is completely preoccupied with the notion that gods created things in this world, and things can be created by living entities with intention, and maybe something created them with intention, seeing as there's all this weird shit in the world, like Brian, and maybe they were made by something. And I also don't presume that they could have any say in who chooses to be around them.
Also, I'm just realizing Red has had a gun pointed at Vimble's head for pretty much this entire time, so I feel like in character Vimble is not gonna vote Red.
So I, as a person, want to hang out with my slime baby, but Xana already knows that she's breaking Red down into being her servant in a way, and wants Red to stay because, what's his name? What's their name?
Fortunato.
Fortunato is a little bit more independent, so she doesn't like that.
Oh, this is great. So There's a lot of different opinions here. I think at this point, and once everyone's like sure that Xana isn't like going to die or attack you, you all start walking back the way you came, through the dirt room, up the stairs, and then once you get to the top, you can see that it's raining in the jungle biome you came from. And so if we need to have a conversation, we should have it here at the top of the stairs, because everyone's like, well, I don't want to get wet. And also, look at this incredible phenomenon. So I'm sure at least one of you wants to study it a little bit. But this is like, in my mind's eye, everyone's kind of standing at the top of the stairs waiting for the rain to die down.
Juniper's gonna turn to Fortunato and just say, everyone else up here seems very, very interested in this place just being theirs, right? It's...
Outsiders don't know anything but colonize, eat hot chip, and lie.
I don't know why the rest of them don't see it. The first thing I thought when I got up here was that this place it's perfect. Like, I can't really put words to it. It needs protecting, and I feel like we're aligned on that.
It's all we have. From now on, we have to learn to share it.
That we do. Well, a lack of sharing of a world's resources doesn't take long to go badly.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't exactly a subtle dichotomy here in the choices.
No, I'm just trying to say it in character because I think this is why Juniper is maybe drawn to Fortunato being in the team.
Yeah, Red isn't like a bloodthirsty conquistador necessarily. She's more of like a person who just justifies things by saying like, "Oh, I'm just trying to, look out for myself."
Indeed, whereas Juniper is looking for people who this place as a whole is the important thing, and Fortunato seems to be on the same page there.
I just realized both Red and Fortunato have hats. Red is like a cowboy hat, and Fortunato has the purple Cordoba we discussed last episode. So now I'm imagining they both are like poking their head out of the ground into the rain, and their hats are getting blasted kind of up by the rain as it goes, like reverse getting rained on, and it's just a really powerful image.
I just want to point out that Xana's wearing a skirt, and this feels weird as fuck. It's weird feeling. All that water.
If anything, Xana, your blood hums like in time with the pitter patter of the rain on the leaves as it goes up. And you can feel like, oh yeah, this was the explicit creation of the last god of nature whose blood now flows inside you. Like they gave their life to create this jungle and its weather and its, its cycle of life. And now that heart is inside you. So.
I don't know about all of you, but this rain feels like really good.
I think as Xana says that, Juniper is gonna like stop and focus on the forest for a second, and I think this is the first moment that she realizes she can hear the plants again.
Can I make a map with my veins? Because that gives me plus to whatever.
You're not the map maker. You can't just be making maps right in front of Vimble.
Well,
I mean, Vimble can't be making maps in front of Vimble. Vimble's Vimble.
I just thought since you said I had like better, skills at doing things.
Specifically, no, you do, but this is a function of your ranger level, is what we're talking about here. I can read off this thing you have, which is the natural explorer. You can't become lost except by magical means, so you could go back exactly the way you came if you want to. Difficult terrain doesn't slow your group, so
nothing's gonna slow us down leaving.
When you forage, you find twice as much food as you normally would. So we're going to have to talk about supplies. That's something. I know someone on this call took Goodberry, and we'll have words later.
I can untake Goodberry, but I'm a plant-based druid, and there's not many plant-based spells that come up and Goodberry's one of them.
I just keep shouting out that I'm immune to shit that Austin's making a big deal of the show. Like, I'm just like, oh, Dio doesn't eat or sleep. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
For the audience, good berry is a spell that you when you make a little berry and then you can eat it and you aren't hungry anymore, which kind of defeats the economy of resources. But we'll talk about that because I think also there's a psychological toll of only eating one berry every day.
Exactly, and like I'm happy, Austin, if you want to have like a limitation on how many people in the party can be fed that way, and like I'm happy for there to be drawbacks. Like that Goodberry won't fix that completely.
What if Goodberry tasted like shit, so we only ate it when we had to?
I think that this is a early game problem solver that by the end is like, no, I'm not having fucking berries again.
All right. So there's a couple of things on the table here. One, you have to choose between Red and Fortunato. Two, Xana, you're looking out of the jungle and you want to make a roll to know more about it. Nature or survival. I guess you can't get lost, so actually survival is not really a thing right now. Let's try a nature roll just for Xana.
Oh, natural 20 first one.
Holy shit. Xana's on fire.
So the tendrils of veins come sprouting out of me. Remember, it's still anchored to where the heart is. And it just starts, branching out into the air and swaying back and forth. You can see the ends of the veins very fine. Like, you know how the circulatory system, you go to Body Works and they're like, this is just the veins. And it's kind of looks like a sponge. Like, that's how dense it is. And it's all twinkling around and then it sucks back into me. And then what can I do, Austin?
With a crit. So two things here, actually probably 3 or 4 things. A lot of things are happening. One is the pink ham sect you bonded with lands on your shoulder. Remember that you can switch perspectives with it at any time. Your characters, it's funny, I've there's all these bonuses the characters can get and you've just gotten them all. You have the animal, you have the blood of the dead god.
I've got the tree. I got the tree. You didn't get the tree. It's my tree. You're not having my tree.
But with a crit, you know everything there is to know about this jungle, because it was created by the person whose blood is inside you. You know that it was created as a habitat for every kind of animal that this person wanted to see, but that includes a food chain. So if you'll remember, I think 2 episodes ago when the ham sects were introduced, I said, they're all fluttering around fancy-free, and they wouldn't be doing this if there's predators, because they're a small prey species, and that was to indicate you were safe. You notice there are no ham sects out here right now, and with this crit, I'm going to tell you that when it rains, that's when the predators come out. The god of nature not only made these little cute cherubic prey animals, but also apex predators to hunt them.
Okay, so I take my ham sack and put it in my purse or backpack that looks like a purse. It looks like a Birkin. And I tell everyone, hey guys, the blood thingy says that they put predators when the rain falls up. So I think we should be aware of that. Okay?
Specifically because you create, I guess I want to lay out something more schematic, which is that when the gods created animals for the new world, like I said before, the god of birds created birds, the god of fish created fish. That's all basic stuff. But some of the gods who had more, conceptual domains decided to get weird with it, and including ones that were specifically designed with their role alongside sapient life in mind, which is to say they made companion animals, which are just how it took millions of years for us to take wolves and make them into pugs. What if they were just created as pugs? So just perfect companion animals.
It took us so long to ruin wolves.
It took us a while. The gods skipped to the end of the line. They created animals like the ham sect, who are just genuinely really happy to see you and are are jazzed about your existence the way like domesticated dogs and cats are. But they also created predator animals which cannot be tamed. They are scientifically, god magically created only to kill. In a way that you're like, from your perspective, Xana, you're like, I don't know why you did that to me, bro. Hey, blood, that's fucked up.
So what you're saying is we can't have a Mimicolian equivalent as a pet this season?
I'm buzzing to tell Austin what this creature looks like. I'm so hyped.
Oh no, it's a brutal, vicious murder beast, but it's also just a cute purple blob. It's a very small, cute purple blob that is also very murdery.
Oh, okay, guys. So, the blood thing said that some animals are created to be our best friend, and that other animals are created only to kill. They didn't really give me a list of which is which, so I guess we're gonna figure it out.
Also, you crit, so I guess I'll just say, don't take the gods as being infallible. They probably have fucked up a lot. I mean, literally, when they all got together to give their life to create this world, one of them was like, lol, no, I'm out, actually. So, if anything about this sounds problematic, probably some of the gods agreed. So that's
also,
a
the
thing.
gods are stupid, I think. They might be dumb.
Look, I don't know about the rest of you. Red? You seem really nice and I want to get to know you more, and you're very tall and that's very good. But I'm just here to learn and keep this place safe, and I'm vibing with Fortunato. I'm sorry, you seem really cool. You're really tall.
Fortunato is really sneaky. I like that.
That means Fortunato wins the vote because,
Yeah.
not to
I mean,
silence Mari, but
and also, it doesn't have to be a vote necessarily, because maybe if Xana says something and another character goes, actually, that's a good point, you know.
Well, I just think that Fortunato probably has their own things to do or whatever. And maybe, like, having Red ditch their job and their, like, whole life to come with us, and then we ditch them less than a day later is kind of rude. You know?
I don't want to ditch either of them. Have I mentioned again? She's very tall. But I just want a research friend. I want to keep the planet safe, friend.
Red says, it's probably better this way, and we won't have to fight about who gets the sarcophagi in the next one.
That probably makes sense. Assuming, like, I'm guessing your plan isn't I'm going to also go do that same thing, but just, like, 5 minutes ahead of us.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna head back to town, get my Zorp Black, and the race is on.
Oh, okay, well, you know what, that's actually okay, because that means we get to see you again, and... Look, I don't mind if we're in a competition, if it means I get to see you again.
Aww.
You're very tall.
if this helps, I don't know, but I've been thinking for the last 5 minutes about creating things and people who create things and why they do that, and I now have a lot of questions that I want to research. I can do research.
Hell yeah, team research!
Team research!
Research! We're gonna learn so many things.
I'm having a quandary relating to existing and being, some kind of being related moment in my brain.
We can chat about that. I can talk to the plants again.
Yay!
I'm very excited to have time to sit and chat to the plants. I can talk to the plant on top of your head.
That plant is. You can already talk to that plant. That plant is me.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, I can.
Well, no hard feelings, partners. I'm gonna get to the next reliquary before y'all and the next one after that and absorb all the powers, so I hope you don't hold that against me, but y'all ain't gonna be able to mosey like I can on my mount, so I'll save a seat for you at the edge of the world.
I mean, we're gonna get there first, but like... Don't get there so far behind us that we don't get to say hi.
There's a fine line. I'm sure some of us on this call know this between saying something in a degrading way, but it's also still fun.
I feel like Juniper's open to being degraded at this point. You're looking for some kind of. That'd be the first time a city slicker beat me in a race, but we'll see.
Exactly. But she's gonna load up she has a bandolier of bullets under her jacket and loads up the gauntlets on her hands and starts walking back through the jungle. The map you saw, map is a strong word. The holographic projection you saw of all the gods giving their life to create Arabella, the section that's missing where the god walked off is in the far east. So you will need to go back the way you came and then through the original or around the original settlement because you're wanted there. I was going to say through it, but that's actually not an option anymore.
Did we not sort that by being friends with Red for 5 minutes?
Nope, you lost home gang.
Shucks.
Yeah, but then we befriended.
Yeah. Is not the real home gang the friends we made along the way?
So I'm just saying now, you went to the west, you'll need to go either north or south and around the original settlement and then eastward from here on out. So it's a straight shot more or less from there on in, but if anyone is trying to construct a mental map of this wacky race, which is now the premise of this season, as Red walks off into the rainy jungle.
Can my veins just point us which way we need to go?
Yep, as a ranger, you can't get lost, so you can actually go back the way you came, and that's no rolls required. The problem is that the jungle is filled with predators.
Okay.
Wow, what can we do about that?
Well, because Xana crit, I guess you can communicate what they are, by which I mean, Sophie, what are the predators lurking in the jungle?
Well, the first one that there is that we see is very tall, but not tall in the way that Juniper enjoys Red being tall, but tall in the uh-oh kind of way. It's got 6 foot of legs, but it only has 2 legs. So it's on these long stilt-like legs, and it has a big tail.
Austin, are we not? I said it's just a little purple blob, but it's a predator.
And
we
the
not
legs,
doing that? No.
the legs are like chicken's legs, but huge, and the tail is like the body of a snake, and then the head is like the head of a kitten, but huge, way bigger than it should be, and it's got a unicorn horn.
All right, so do you want to tell the audience about this picture I put in the Roll20?
Oh yeah, sure. I just thought it was too good, and we have to actually have it in. Guericke's unicorn at the Natural History Museum in Magdeburg, Germany. Otto von Guericke, by then mayor of Magdeburg, interpreted, I think is what the tweet says, bones of a woolly rhinoceros as those of a unicorn and presented the reconstruction in 1672, and it's just like a fucking just a head on top of some legs.
When this episode comes out, I'll post it in the Discord, but yes, this
with a tail that's a spine with a unicorn horn. So that's what we're looking at, but it's got a kitten head. I think that would be good.
Yeah, as soon as it was said that the head and the legs just connected to each other, I was like, oh no, I've seen this thing. I know what this is. I've seen this abomination.
Yes, this is what someone thought the bones of a woolly mammoth or a woolly rhinoceros would have looked like, and they just attached the big legs to the head and the tail to that point, and it's incredible. And so these things are stalking through the woods, 6 foot legs. It's basically like the Baba Yaga legs, and then a kitten head on top, and then like a snake tail.
Yeah, I want to say something about how it moves, which is that it likes to grab stuff with its tail and put it into the big kitten mouth, and it's just not apparent where anything that it eats goes because the head is just on some legs, and that's the magic of this creature.
Yeah, it doesn't have an obvious stomach or like excretory system or anything. In fact, it's your blood. You feel Xana pumping through you. You just like there's somehow an imperceptible chuckle of a heart murmur where it's just like, yeah, I was a little wild with this one, huh?
Xana says, "Oh my god, yeah, this is crazy."
So, I have a mechanical question for you, Austin. Level 2, Druid, I get wild shape.
Yeah.
I don't know what challenge rating any of the beasts we encounter are, because they're not on the beast table.
Yeah, a thing about the wild shape for druids is supposed to be animals you're familiar with. So I don't think we actually have to worry about you shifting into these new animals yet. Maybe in a later season that can be a thing, but I
blast them.
yeah,
It's my one move.
sure. Do you want to roll an attack then?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying to Laura. I'm not declaring an attack. I just wanted to be clear about why I was being quiet. I have one move. I'm sorry.
I feel like I could sneak by them, but
Yeah, we can't all though.
yeah.
I can sneak past them too, I think, but
For Juniper, I'm gonna try a thing. Austin, can I use Speak with Plants to get a sense of if the predators are in particular areas, or any sort of sense of what might be a safe route?
Yeah. I mean, that seems like the textbook utility of the spell is to getting the ferns to snitch on the animals in here.
Hey, look, I know your root system's connected. Like, one of these things has got to have peed on you recently, and you got to be aware of where they're going. Like, what's up? Cactus, tell me where they're at.
So Juniper, you take some steps into the rain to get to a nearby plant, and the Yggdrasil in your glove, the little shard of it, feels warm against your hand, and you can talk to a plant for the first time. How does this feel? Because this was something you were worried about being able to do.
So I think initially Juniper's just very excited at the prospect that this is on the table again. Like, hell yeah, this is going to be exactly like it was before. I'm going to be back to being, like, the person who's good at everything. Everything's going to be great. And I don't think it's bad, but I think that Juniper's very quickly struck by how very different it is. Juniper had kind of... Juniper had been joking in the first episode or two about, they just speak a different dialect up here, but I think that is very legitimately what is happening now that she's able to speak with plants. I think that it is all very foreign and distant and very different.
Yeah, the plants call them elevators instead of lifts, and chips instead of fries,
Yeah.
and it's just like...
Yeah, wheelie bins. It's wild.
But yes, the plants speak very simply. I mean, they don't use words or languages. It's pheromonal, I imagine, or also magical. So like your magic.
Dialect's not the right word for it, but you get the energy of what I'm going for.
Yeah, you send out magic that translates into pheromones. It sends out pheromones that are translated into magic, essentially. And it's a simple conversation, just like, where's the predator? Northeast 12 meters or something, and then you can move up a little bit and ask the next plant. And in this way, you can slowly make your way through the jungle. And because of Xana's ranger ability, you can't get lost. So it's like you're slowly making your way through the rainy jungle. But like every once in a while, you hear like a crash of these 6-foot chicken legs somewhere in the brush. And it's just like this very harrowing kind of slow movement. Like it's
kind of creepy just thinking about like a snake kitten just coming out of the air. Like they're way above. I know they said you said 6 feet, but I'm imagining like 12 feet long legs so that they can like come down and snatch you, and you just don't notice.
They could be really long.
In the video game, you have to like do the stealth section, and when you get caught, they just fucking snap you up, like really violently.
Yeah,
like when you get caught in The Last of Us.
Yeah,
They just pull you into that mouth, and you just go somewhere, but you don't know where. Just you're gone. That's the end of you. I think. Well, they don't have to have long legs to do that. They can just be. They climb. That's the thing, is they climb up trees, so they snatch you when you're not expecting.
Yeah.
with their big snake tail.
Like I imagine it's just like they use every part. Like they don't pee or poo just because like they just use all of it. You know.
I would like to believe that like if they were in a bamboo forest and they stood very still, you would notice the difference between their legs and the bamboo.
You're doing the
And
thing
so then
from
if you
Skull
brushed
Island.
up against one, you're gone.
The thing with the spider in Skull Island, right?
Was it a spider? It was like a big white thing, I think. Right?
Some kind of thing. Yeah.
And I was upset they killed it.
Yeah, me too. I like that thing.
That thing didn't do anything.
I
It
love-
didn't even attack him.
I love Sam's idea that they just use every bit, and so that they get just proportionally bigger to what, based on what they ate. But they usually only eat ham sect, so they usually don't get that much bigger each time.
Oh my god, yeah, no, every time they eat something, their legs get longer.
It just goes straight. Every time one of these things, which by the way are called mittens, every time a mittens eats something, it thinks this is going straight to my leg.
That's right.
And it's completely right about that.
Wait, even it's singular mittens and plural mittens?
Yes.
Okay.
Plural.
Yeah, one fish, two fish, one mittens, two
One
mittens.
mittens, two mittenses. No, it's plural mittens. Yeah, it's just mittens.
Yeah.
Oh god. All right, so you're making your way through the rainy jungle, slowly moving as Juniper talks to the plants to carve a safe path back. On the way there, does anybody say or do anything?
So where did you all come from?
We came from another world that's different from the world that you were made inside of. Also, I think your origin is from this world where a bunch of gods like killed themselves or whatever to make cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you're made out of a god's dead body, I think, kind of, but like this whole place is, so you're not special or anything.
Who made your world?
How common knowledge is that, Austin? Would we, as a...
Roll
Would we as-
roll religion.
Yeah. I want to roll religion. Yeah. Oh, I've got a negative in that. It'll be fine.
Critical fail. All right, so somehow, how do I say that so wrong?
What's the wrongest you can get it?
I got a crit, 19.
What the fuck?
You know Xana would say something despite knowing the opposite of the truth.
Yeah, okay, so like we're from like a different world that's better, obviously, and it was created by I think my dad, and like he like invented it, you know, so like I am a princess.
I would listen to what people who read books have said.
My dad created it, Dio.
Tio's looking between Xana
Can
and Juniper.
I attempt to roll persuasion?
I'm gonna roll
with
persuasion too.
I'm never gonna
It's
beat
been
you
well
on that
established
roll.
Dio is a blank slate and absolutely is open to a persuasion contest.
I rolled a 10.
Come on, here we go. What's mine? No modifier. Oh. 11.
Okay, just
I'm sure your dad is like really cool and smart, but I feel like Juniper is telling me the truth.
Are you calling me a liar?
I mean, I'm gonna call you a liar. Just a little bit.
Whatever.
Oh, jeez.
Juniper is giggling in character. Juniper's having a great time here. Hooray! Someone listened.
As if to punctuate this conversation, a gunshot rings out far to the east in the jungle, as presumably Red has met a mittens.
I mean, look, your suggestion that Dio just shoot him, apparently an alright suggestion.
My only other option is just to be kind of sneaky.
Yeah, with that, I think the gunshot, you hear a bunch of mittens running in this direction to see the source of the sound. And Juniper, you've been talking to these plants, and now suddenly things are moving too fast for them to give you an accurate picture. Why don't you all roll?
Oh, fuck.
Why don't you all roll stealth for the next part of this escape?
12.
21.
Hell yeah.
Wow, perfect. 21 and 15 pass. That's what I was looking for. So why don't you narrate to me, Vimble and Xana specifically, the escape from this jungle? Because it's like as you get closer to the edge, these things are running towards you in your direction. The rain is beating up on you, and you like in the distance you see the edge of the jungle. But at a certain point, like they catch sight of you, and it's just like you're running. How does this look? What's this escape look like?
Okay, so I get away, or I cause some sort of visceral reaction where I have all of the veins come out and make a big, like, they spread out completely, and then they just start shaking. And they're like, I don't know how to process what I'm looking at because it's just so much. Just like a huge circulatory system coming up and wiggling at you, and then I start running.
The mittens are just like, the circulatory system, it's too vast.
Is this the equivalent of when a creature like opens its wings up to seem bigger than it is?
Yeah, that's like what I was going for, like a peacock, but with blood.
A blood peacock.
That's the next predator.
Of course, why did I not...
It's the blood peacock.
Why didn't I think of a blood peacock before now?
Yeah. So what else? Vimble, you're the stealth master. If Xana can ward off some with her circulatory system, but you got to get the group out of here.
All right, I'm like, I feel like a lot of like Vimble's stealth advice comes down to just be as short as Vimble is.
Okay, Juniper's got that down.
So,
Juniper's.
I mean, like, I sort of like got everyone sort of like on like no. So I like sort of pull everyone into like the bushes, like while like someone's like distracting them, and like I just sort of like cover you up with like my cloak, and it stinks under there.
Oh.
It smells of Axe body spray.
It's really gross. But like you're all able to like sort of like hold out and like stick through it as like we sort of like get just out of like immediate like chomping distance of them. And then yeah, like we all sort like we start moving, and you sort of like rush because you're trying to get rid of the get out of the gross cloak, and so yeah, they start like we're going like pretty quietly, but like a twig snaps, and then they sort of turn, and we have to just start booking it, you know.
Yeah. So when you run, you see the edge of the jungle, and you're like making it this final break for it as the mittens bear down on you. When you finally burst out into the other biome, you hear them kind of come to a stop behind you, as if like they're uncomfortable with leaving the area. And so you can like run a couple paces and turn around and look, and you see like the tree line is just thick with mittens, just some of them like towering above you, ones that are full of ham sects. Now they're 12 feet tall.
Oh, I'm so happy I made this thing. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
I mean, that was such a great idea, is that they don't waste any of the biomass because they were created to be perfect.
They don't really they digest like they just have absolutely killer saliva, so they don't really have a digestive system. It just goes straight into the blood.
Oh my gosh. So you're all standing there, and after a moment, Fortunato says, "So, do we go around the community to the north or the south?"
My circulatory system starts spinning in the air. Should I roll to say?
What? Hold on, what?
Okay. You guys are imagining like it comes out and it's in the human form. I'm thinking this thing can go in any shape because it's just veins. And so it just starts.
You're doing like a little lasso of veins.
It did a whole thing where it just pointed straight up in the air and then started spinning to pick which way it wants to go.
Juniper's looking at the vague map we made earlier and hoping that knows or has some clues.
In episode 2, Juniper, you jumped from building to building across the roofs, and then you hung down from the roof to look through a window to see into the main building in the first settlement, and you saw just the most crude map, which just had the community and then something to the north, south, east, and west. That's all you have to go on.
Juniper's purely looking at this from the perspective of there was something to the north and something to the south. Do we remember what those were, if we ever knew, and if so, is one of them a safer option to go near?
It's funny, Red did say in episode 3, but I don't think anybody picked up on it. Here's the thing. Vimble, do you want to try another cartography roll to get
I would love to try another cartography roll.
To get the jungle biome down?
Alright, I got a 10.
That's average.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely a step up. You're going in the correct direction.
A 10 whole points.
Yeah, I'm not rolling well. The stealth 15 was +8.
Yeah. I will say that because you got an average, I'll give you just the barest memory of what Red said a while ago, which is that she goes to the different communities to check on them to see if they need her services, which are to, hurt people who step out of line. And she said that to the north, there was some kind of farm, and to the south, there was some kind of mine. But north or south is the important thing.
Okay. Wait, so sorry, it's south is the mine, north is the farm?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, so we got, there's I'm gonna show everyone just like the word, like it's gonna be like generally accurate, but just this map looks like shit, dude. Like this looks like this looks like a very artistically untalented 10-year-old drew it,
Oh. I mean, the jungle section is much more fleshed out because you were deep in there, but
oh, like it's all accurate. Like I'm just talking like in terms of like my like drawing abilities. Like it's literally like stick figures and shit,
So I guess Dio asks back to Fortunato, which do you think is better?
Fortunato says,
Well, now that we know the believers gave their lives to create reliquaries, it depends on what kind of god you would want to absorb.
Well, if I was asked, I'd have said nature, but I got beaten to the punch on that. What are the other options?
There's farm or mine. Oh, Dark Justice is voting mine.
I have a question. What is a farm? I have another question. What is a mine?
Thank you.
Fortunato explains that farms are places where food is made and mines are places where metal is taken, and that generally if you're looking for supplies, if you wanted metal supplies like weapons, the mine might be the place to go, and if you want like food supplies or something, the farm might be the place to go. Also, you shouldn't know this by now. Saying that Dice Funk has a plan is a very generous way of putting it. But let's say I planned for eventually you to discover that you could bond with the animals that the gods created to be your companions. But Xana has crit already and revealed this. So if you were looking for animals to bond with, the farm would be the place to go.
I also Vimble's just gonna like explain to Dio that like farms and mines are both places where people who are too poor to matter spend their lives.
And I guess Dio believes that. You keep on just feeding my precious character this horrible stuff.
I think Fortunato might chime in and say,
Everyone here works for the good of the community.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, exactly, like I just said.
There are no unimportant people.
I disagree.
Do you think we could maybe catch up with Red?
Yeah. So Red went directly east back through the central community because she is not wanted like you. So she's getting a head start, and she has a Zorb Black. So this is such a great season. I love this race because the research team has a head start.
I just meant like I feel like she like even with like the holding a pistol against my head, I feel like that like she was like a bit cooler than this guy.
We got out of the forest really quick because we knew how to do that.
I was gonna say that Dio would say to Fortunato, I have no interest in food. But if the animal thing is said since then, it would be like, but I do have an interest in making friends.
Juniper is on board with the go make friends plan at the farm, mainly because Juniper is a little bit jealous of, oh, if I'd realised what this was, that the forest was my one. I've missed my one. I want those things now. Give me an animal. Find me another nature circulatory system. There'll be stuff out here. I'm going to find the god of charisma. I'm going to have the charisma skeleton.
On the farm? You going to get on Mr. Bones' wild ride?
If we find a charisma skeleton, oh, that's mine, Xana. You ain't having that.
I'm sorry, the charisma skeleton is such a powerful image. Just like the most likable Mr. Bones.
Yeah, Mr. Bones' wild ride. He's wearing like little sunglasses and he's just like strutting it like Spider-Man 3.
He looks like the skeleton from Halloween Town.
It's like that spooky, scary skeletons video. So does that mean we're going to the farm? Fortunato's fine with either.
Yeah. Let's go to the farm.
And get ourselves some friends.
It's so funny that you all know about the bonding stuff right now. It's changing so much. So you start walking northeast, going back up. You see the community off to one side of like the wooden buildings and the main drag, and people on their Zorplax carrying lumber to build like new barns and stuff. And you're trying to give it a wide berth so that they don't come after you. Do you talk about anything on the way there? You'll have to camp once before you get to the north, but otherwise you don't see any immediate predicaments on this kind of prairie land.
While we're passing the town, sort of Dark Justice is sort of just going like, this is bullshit because we should be the law there, and just sort of going on like a big thing about that.
Mm-hmm. You seem very bothered by the fact that you aren't, you don't have a purpose here.
Well, yeah, not yet, but that's just because these people are too stupid to realize that their purpose should be for me to be the law and CEO.
I can't relate to your situation because I can't imagine what it's like to not have a purpose. I was created for something. I just have to find out what.
We don't need laws. We help each other, because without each other, we would die.
Would I, though? I don't know about that. Also, we were outside of the law, and nothing bad happened. In fact, we made more friends, and Xana got extra blood.
Yeah, let's base our legal system on how much blood Xana has.
Morality and the law are sometimes different. And what I say is moral is what it is. Okay, Dio?
Oh, okay.
As you can see, every time I've made a choice that everyone disagreed with, good things happened. Like your freedom and my blood.
I think someone's slightly twisting events a little bit there.
Is that not the events? Everyone said, don't free the slave. Now we have a free slave.
No, none of us said that. We said, come back and do it at night when they're not going to see us do it and get
acknowledging
attacked.
slavery as a concept in the first place. Thank you.
Yes, but also, we could have been not shot at.
Right, but I didn't want to. And guess what? Now we have a free being, and I have more blood.
And we can't walk through this town, and therefore we might not get the next cool circulatory system.
Have you considered that everyone in that town was ugly? It was really hard for me.
Have you considered that not getting murdered? Pretty good.
Okay, but we're not getting murdered right now. And we don't have to be in that ugly town.
Yeah, because we're taking a huge detour around a town for no reason.
The reason is that they're ugly.
You're ugly.
Oh my god.
Ugly of spirit.
Oh, jeez.
Fortunato pulls their purple hat down to cover their eyes, which presumably are somewhere inside their clothing, and just like, oh fuck, it's on.
Look, if you get to decide an entire town is ugly because you didn't like them,
No, because I saw them with my eyes. It was horrible.
Dio does the same gesture as Fortunato, but doesn't have a hat, so just kind of looking down.
look, there are different kinds of beauty and...
Right? There's different types of beauty, but then there's the type that is beauty. So, like we say there's other types, but that's just to make ugly people feel better about being smarter or something.
Oh fuck. So I think right now Juniper and Xana are at loggerheads as you make camp for the night.
Can I Dark Justice is gonna try and get in the middle and defuse the situation by being like, look, we can all agree that regardless of how attractive they all are, we should be running that town.
It's true. Ugly people should be subjugated.
Oh, okay, hold on. I need to roll something to see if Fortunato ditches you all in the night.
When you say ditches you all, can I go with Fortunato?
Yeah, same.
I leave the campaign. I'm with Fortunato now.
Yeah, interesting. So you have to make camp for the night. I have an important question here, which is, are you going to spend a spell slot on Goodberry?
What level? That's level 1, isn't it? One sec.
Especially in a low-level campaign like this, that is a real cost, so...
Yeah, we have some supplies from the stuff we started off with. What's that looking like? How much do we have in the way of supplies?
So, to be clear, for people who haven't listened to the show before, we only long rest when we level up because of something that's called the 5-minute workday in D&D. It's to take a while to explain. It's just a balancing issue. We short rest relatively frequently. We long rest every couple of episodes.
The short version is players would go, okay, I did that fight, now I'm going to have an 8-hour nap.
Anytime you do anything, you could theoretically get everything back, and it completely breaks the balance of the game. So we try to do something more narratively interesting. Also, just because, sometimes you sleep and you don't feel refreshed. It happens, But as far as the supplies go, you got some for fixing Dio from the dwarves and orcs in that warehouse, but you've used them since then. So you're running low. The question is, do you use Goodberry, or do you want to roll to, find food?
Can I attempt to do a roll to find food, and if unsuccessful, use Goodberry as the backup?
Yes, although I should mention Xana, because you took that ranger level by absorbing the circulatory system. When you forage, you find twice as much food as you normally would, is a thing you can do now.
Okay, so what should I utilize to forage?
That's a survival roll.
Okay.
I would like to also help Juniper because I don't need food, so I can dedicate my time to helping to find food.
Okay. I'm going to attempt that survival.
19.
And the shape that takes is that I just mimic what Juniper is doing.
14 from Juniper?
19, you crushed it. I mean, this feels like the flavor is self-evident. It's the fact that you have the circulatory system of the god of nature inside you. But if you want to paint me a picture of your successful hunt for food around here, you can absolutely do that.
Yeah, so the ends of thousands upon thousands of very fine capillaries, I'm walking through, and it's kind of sifting through the grass for me. And then every time it would find anything edible at all that we would like, it just picks it up and puts it in my hands.
So for flavor on Juniper's attempting to help with this, Juniper is literally asking the plants, "Hey, any of you got any berries on you? And if so, which direction you in?"
Nice. So you eventually bring all of your stuff back to camp. I noticed that was a purely vegan foraging attempt there, which is interesting. So you parcel out the berries and the the vegetables to everyone, and you sit around as the sun goes down.
I picked up a few living animals just to add that in, just to creep you out then. A few mice and stuff.
I like to think that you grab a couple of weird little critters out of the grass and then just sneak it into your mouth and don't tell anyone.
I was imagining the veins just like plucking rodents or like whatever small animals from like the grass in the same way that you would like pull like fruit from a tree. It's just like gently picking them up and strangling them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Juniper is definitely just getting like plants and vegetables and fruits, but is saying thank you to each of the plants upon harvesting. Just a little thank you.
So you all sit down to eat. Juniper says thank you to the food, which is precious. And Fortunato, who has some misgivings about some of the people in this party, says,
So, the believers left their bodies for us to find in the reliquaries. But what is our goal for the piece of Arabella that is yet uncreated?
I want to find the uncreator, because they will know what the others intended, and one of them made me for something.
fuck, that's so good. I want to say earlier someone mentioned about you were made by them, and I let that go without comment. This is something that you feel you know, or is it a guess? Is there an in and out of character disconnect?
Dio has been puzzling it out for a little while, and it seems like the most completely plausible. Everything that they have seen confirms it, and nothing that they have seen even comes close to disproving it.
Yeah, I mean, this is an incredible motivation for Dio, and I'm so full. My brain is full of bees right now. If I wanted to,
After this recording, Austin's going into recovery mode from all these high-level important ideas.
But I love that. I love that for Dio, and it's an open question. I feel like the people back in the community were like, I don't know. I think someone brought it and then just abandoned it, and there's a lot of people just assumed things about Dio.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Juniper turns around and says, "We've not been up here very long, but what's really struck me very quickly is how quickly everyone is trying to turn this world into the one we left. And I want to find some way to not have it end up like the last one."
The last believer may have that power.
I thought I liked nature, and then I came up here, and now I feel like I knew nothing, and I want to know how to keep this place safe.
Fortunato has used the term believer a couple of times. I just want to point out that you all rolled very poorly last episode about religion and stuff, so none of you actually know what that means.
Nothing unusual for me. I'm good. That's fine.
Sick. The question is still on the table for Xana and Vimble. What do you hope to accomplish by winning this race to the end of the world?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with I think that everyone's sort of trying to recreate the same mistakes of the old world without realizing that those mistakes are what caused the problems. Namely those problems being government regulation and identity politics, leading to crime just being rampant. And so that's what I hope to stop.
Okay, you know what? I had to separate Fortunato from Austin, because Austin is like, fuck this guy with a rake. I think Fortunato could take you at face value. You want to create a world without crime, which is on its surface theoretically laudable.
There's nothing wrong inherently with that statement. There's obviously everything else that I said is horrible, but I don't think that yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, Fortunato
who's pro crime?
Fortunato might even say
maybe the last place in Arabella could be created to be crime-free, the way the jungle was created to reign up.
I like that.
Yeah, if the gods could give their lives to make the world, and like physics and reality can be bent by that godly action.
Imagine what they could do. Imagine the police force they could create.
Jesus Christ. We have to kill Vimble. We have to kill Vimble.
Don't worry. Juniper's genuinely considering the concept.
We just have to kill him. He just has to die. We've got a certifiable Cecil Rhodes on our hands. We have to kill this motherfucker before this gets out of hand.
I just want to, like, make people happy and help them, the best way I know how. Roll deception.
I like that you did that in character voice. I roll deception.
20.
Shit, fuck. All right, so I think Fortunato is going to interpret this as saying, in the same way Vimble wants to create the last biome to be like magically crime-free, you want to create a place that is like ultimate happiness where everyone will be content and cared for.
Well, everyone will be perfect in my eyes, yeah.
I like that's very funny just how ideological we all are, that Vimble's the one we're like has to die, and Xana is just putting off Jafar vibes at all times.
I mean, I think Xana has to die. I just think we have a much cleaner shot of figuring out Vimble has to die sooner and then doing it.
Look, if there is a difference between gaslighting can take a while to work out how to deal with. Someone who wants more cops, that's an easy villain right there.
Again, just like last season all over again.
Yeah. So everyone gives their motivation for going on this race. I have it kind of in my mind as like this is now like the British friends and co-hosts. Does the Oregon Trail have any cultural purchase to you?
Oh, we understand.
It's
I
a video
understand
game.
it through cultural osmosis. Yeah, it's an old video game about trying to cross the US, but it wanted to kill you at every
And it
turn.
makes me think of the Donner Party where they ate each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of choice adventure, like a choose your own adventure book kind of game.
So yeah, you've heard of it. I was just curious, like, did you grow up with it? Was it in all your schools?
Oh, no, never played it. We only, I
never
can't
played
speak for anyone else, but I'm only aware of it because it gets mentioned in every piece of media made by Americans. I know about it because Americans talk about it.
Mimetic transference.
Yeah, I mean that's another way of thinking of the season. If it was like a choice between like Star Trek season and Oregon Trail season, I just didn't know if that would translate to you too.
I get the gist.
Okay, but it is, yeah. You're trying to go to basically the edge of the world to try to make your dreams come true. But yeah, it's gonna be dangerous.
A season with Xana and Dark Justice gonna struggle to be let's make a reasonable, gentle first contact.
So as you all spool out your motivations for Fortunato, who has said, reiterates they just want what's best for Arabella. They think it's basically their duty in life to protect it, especially from people from the old world who don't respect it. You all roll perception for me to see if you notice a thing in the night.
12. Is it a mittens?
No, the mittens didn't seem comfortable leaving the jungle.
And they play with it?
20.
8.
5.
Oh. All right, we got 20 and 12, so 2 people above average. I will give this to Juniper with the highest roll. So the sun has gone down in the way it does here in Arabella, which is to say, because it's like a flat Earth, it like dips below the edge of the world as you can see it, but there's still like a faint glow on the horizon. And if you look as far as you can out to the horizon line, and you see something move on a scale which hurts to contemplate. But you only can see it. It's very distant. It's dark, and
if everyone else has already settled down, Juniper's going to start gently waking everyone and going, Okay, call this what you will, maybe small animal sense. There is something, and it's moving, and I'm concerned.
I just put a painting in the roll 20. This is a work by an artist named Tomislav Jagnik.
Oh, fuck yes.
Who some of their pieces have gone viral. They're often just these enormous monsters. So that's what I have in mind here. This one I think is called something like "Is the forest safe? Yeah, you're good, dude." Which is there's just a giant monster lurking in the background and then a person facing it, and the monster's giving a thumbs up.
Can I do any roll to vibe check this big friend?
Because you only got average rolls, unfortunately, no. But it's so far away. When it moves, it is like the horizon shifted, and then it's not moving anymore. When you wake everyone else to look at it.
Okay, well, Nick, I know it doesn't look like it's moving now, but trust me, when a whole mountain decides to come and hassle us, you'll be glad to know that things like that are that big are moving.
There are things of scales here which are going to take some getting used to, I will say. But you all rolled really well on supplies, so you are able to sleep through the night and feel well in the morning as you get your stuff up and start off walking again. Is there anything you want to talk about? You see the farm in the distance, and it looks like you're going to be able to walk up no problem, so you're not worried or in danger.
Okay. Juniper is gonna on the walk head over to Dio and offer. So there's a lot you don't know about this world, right?
Yeah, I guess so. How much is that? Well, it depends. Do you think there's a lot? More than like two and a half days of stuff?
There's probably more than 2.5 days of stuff.
Well,
That's okay. There's a lot I don't know as well. I wanted to offer you something.
Oh.
Is there anything you'd like to ask the plants? Because I don't know a lot about what they're like up here yet. And if you've got any questions, I can ask them and see if we can learn anything.
Sure, I could probably think of a couple, yeah. What's it like being a plant? What should I expect from being a plant? When I become a plant, do they know if they were created for a reason? Do they know the person that created them? Are they aware? Would they like me to find out why they were created? Do they sleep? Because I don't, and I find the concept quite scary. Is it hard when the rain goes upwards for them? Or is that helpful in some way?
Juniper will sort of hop up and sort of make a it's okay motion, and we'll summarize that as plants. Do you know how you came to be? Which is a very existential question for plants, I recognize, but...
So as you get to the edge of the farm and you start seeing like the first fields, are they old world plants or new world plants, you think? I ask this because I'm excited for you to think of a new kind of plant, but I also feel like where this goes is like, what if a watermelon was purple? And it's like...
Yeah, we already established Brian are a plant animal. We've already gone wacky with plants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the thing that makes these plants unique is that rather than having lots of roots under the ground, they've got some sort of growths on them that are a little bowl-shaped, and they're sort of collecting water that way that they use to keep themselves hydrated. They've got little water receptacle leaves that just sort of collect the water, and that's how they do.
Interesting. So you walk up and you use the piece of the Yggdrasil to speak with plants, and you ask the plant, how were you created? Is that what you said?
Also, what's it like being a plant? Also, what should you expect from if you are someone who is going to become a plant? What would you expect that to be like?
I think the simple answer the plant says to how did you came to be is someone planted me.
Were you planted individually, or just all at once you were suddenly planted?
I'm thinking from a seed's perspective, how this is. I can't believe this always happens. I'm having to always inhabit plants and animals. I don't know that it knows the difference.
That's entirely fair. It's a question that gonna be asked regardless.
Because you're standing in a field of a farm. It's like at the edge of the community. There's like all of these rows of these bowl plants, and you get the people here planted them all. But I don't know if it thinks of its relationship to the other plants or the people who did that in any particular way. For them, it's just like I didn't exist, and then I was a seed, and then someone put me in the ground, and now I'm growing.
Yeah, and I think the way Juniper's going to communicate that back to Dio is, well, much like you, this plant doesn't really know where it came from before it was planted. It was helped to exist, and suddenly it was, and it got to grow and change, much like you're doing.
And then that, I think where the roots of the plant that you planted in Dio's head have been growing, a little bit of Dio's like statue head crumbles away. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like roots poke out of like their eyebrow, kind of thing, and like just push out.
Oh, yay!
As that happens, you notice someone's walking over to you because you're standing in their field.
Oh, hi. Sorry, didn't mean to disturb. Hello.
Shh.
Oh.
Is that an attempt at communication, or is it just shushing us?
No, the figure it's walking over, it shushes you like abruptly mid-sentence. That wasn't Austin being rude. That's his character.
No, I got it was the character. I just didn't know if they just speak a shushing language.
Were you wondering if we were being shushed or they were a snake?
No. As they get closer, you see it appears to be a halfling, basically D&D's version of a hobbit, so kind of a shortish little guy, wearing very loose...
No, we got one.
Light... No, that's a gnome. Looks similar, but gnomes are like sharper.
Oh, we got a little guy already.
All right. This halfling has a really...
Wow. Okay.
This halfling's wearing really light, loose clothes, like the kind of stuff like you'd want to wear if you were doing a lot of farm work. But also, like, it's not like jeans and a hat. It's like very loose, white, like clothing. And they walk over and they shush you if you try to talk to them.
Dio shushes them back.
They actually smile and nod like vigorously.
Dio smiles and nods vigorously, shaking loose some more dust from the crack where the roots came out.
The halfling reaches into their pocket and like pulls out like a fruit and like offers it to the group as if to say like, "Are you hungry? I have food."
It seems wise to accept food if food's going to be a concern long term. So yeah, Juniper's going to accept some.
All right, you take the fruit, and the halfling nods and walks back towards the rest of the community. What do you do?
I think Vimble is just going to very stealthily and quietly go over there. I feel like him being quiet is not going to be a problem.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was sure you were just going to go like, "Hey, so why can't I talk?"
I'm just now reading my cantrip prestidigitation, and it says you create an instantaneous harmless sensory effect such as a shower of sparks, a puff of wind, faint musical notes, or an odd odor. And I'm trying to justify this in character, but I make Vimble stink even worse.
But Vimble, you said you wanted to walk after the halfling. You just turned around and gone back to the community.
Yeah, well, I feel like for Vimble, his logic here is that there's he's very tactical, so he's figuring there's someone that we need to be on guard for, so he's fully ready to he's proceeding stealthily, but under the assumption that there's some enemy or something nearby, and so he's yeah.
We've got tactical assault, Vimble.
Yeah. Well, this is Dark Justice now,
Sorry, tactical assault, Dark Justice.
Yeah.
All right. As soon as you start doing some Metal Gear stuff to follow after this person, first thing you see is as you get out of that field at the edge of the property, you see a sign which says Duma, D-U-M-A-H. That's all it says.
Can we do any kind of check to understand or get any kind of guess at what that is?
History.
Oh, buddy. 24!
I wonder, did you just pay really good attention in this class, or is there a reason that you know this? I'm very curious.
I mean, Vimble is that, it's just fail son shit. So he does know a lot about history and shit. He is very educated. He's been rolling shit, but the design for the character was that he's a nerd. He has he doesn't know anything about talking to people, but he does well in some of his classes, specifically history is, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so Duma is the Aramaic word for silence. It is the name of an angel who presides over the wicked dead with a fiery rod or flaming sword.
1,000 eyes.
Uh-huh. And as you see that sign, you see the halfling in the white loose clothing walk over to the rest of the community where people are beginning to stir and wake up and get ready to go out farming, and they are also all wearing uniform white clothing, and you rolled a 24, so I want to say the word that comes to mind is cult.
Yeah, that's I was getting that vibe. I'm excited.
We've stumbled upon the don't make any sounds cult.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go for being part of a cult when no one says anything anymore. Silence.
Silent
That
podcast.
sounds chill.
I saw a spark against the dark, and we erupt, but it's a slow burn. We take our chance and start to dance, can see enough to know to turn around. The sound of a bonfire carries over fences, titillates our senses, but we don't need the heat. A chill wind is pushing you into me, and it's looking like we might be burning down. But we're a bonfire, we keep putting in. Oh, we're a bonfire, I keep putting in, you keep putting in. I take your hand, but you demand a different love, a different touch. So off we go to burn below. The kindling wasn't quite enough. The sound of a bonfire carries over fences, titillates our senses, but we don't need the heat. A chill wind is pushing you into me, and it's looking like we might be burning down. But we're a bonfire, I keep putting in, you keep putting in. Oh, we're a bonfire, I keep putting in, you keep putting in. Ooh, 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 ooh. And it's so cold, but I don't care. I pull against you and I smell your hair, and I hear crickets all around. And in the night, I think they might see our light, 'cause we're a bonfire. But we're a bonfire, I keep putting in, you keep putting in. Oh, we're a bonfire. I keep putting in, you keep putting in.